Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Sales and Business Development track for Austin Startup Week. This is our last and final day of Austin Startup Week. We hope you have had a great time. I know I have. It's been awesome to get to do this from the comfort of our own homes, something that we've gotten used to over the last year and a half or so. So welcome to the track. Welcome to my house. And we're really looking forward to hearing from our awesome speakers today, and an opportunity for you to get to know some of the fellow attendees through this virtual program. So my name is Sean Duffy, and I am the VP of Partnerships here at Capital Factory. And I'm really excited to be the host for this track for today, because this is my world. This is what I do. So hopefully you're here to learn from our awesome speakers and learn more about sales and business development. It's obviously one of the most important aspects of any business, and especially for startups. But before we get started, I do want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor for this track, which is Redfin Communications. So if you haven't had a chance to check them out, you should check out their website, redfincommunications.com. They are a full-service public relations and marketing communications agency with one goal: to build unique communication strategies that help B2B tech brands dominate their categories and become market leaders. You should check them out. They've worked with tons of startups, and they are fantastic. So with that, I do want to remind, hello, this is my dog Bert. I do want to remind folks that we have a couple of opportunities. We have 3 sessions as well as networking, which you'll have the chance to do. And to close out the day, you can come and hang out with me, not Bert, at our our HR and culture and sales and biz dev happy hour, which is happening at 5 p.m. at Central Machine Works. So with that, we are going to take a quick break. I was supposed to go for 5 to 7 minutes, but this has only been about 2 minutes. But we will be back here at 9:15 to introduce our first speaker in our first session for the day. So we're going to take a pause here, but we'll see you back at 9:15. Hey, everybody, welcome back. We hope you had the chance to grab your coffee, that you're no doubt drinking out of a Coffee is for Closers mug. Hopefully you had a chance to take your dog Bert out for a walk so that he will stop interrupting. And last, I hope you put your business socks on, because, folks, it's business time. This session is going to be about how to set up a killer sales process, and we are really, really excited to welcome folks who want to learn how to boost sales numbers and scale your sales process. So in this masterclass, Kelsey will cover changes in today's buying experience and how you can adapt to succeed, the 7 keys to setting up a sales process, how to create and improve your sales strategy, and then common sales mistakes to avoid, and more. So with that, let's bring up Kelsey Gurnett from Hubspot. Kelsey, welcome.
Hi, nice to meet you. Great to see everybody. Well,
yeah, we're excited. We're excited for you to share with us all things. And if there's time, we'd love a tutorial on how to play guitar too.
Awesome. Well, I'm still learning that one a little bit myself. Wait, wrong shoulder. So that might be for next year's Startup Week.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, Kelsey, I'm going to give you the stage, and I look forward to your presentation.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. Hi, everyone. Well, we are going to jump right in here. Get your coffee ready. As Sean said, your business socks on. If you're a Flight of the Conchords fan, they have a really funny song about business socks. But in any case, I am welcoming you through Austin Startup Week, but also Hubspot for Startups. And I have a quick slide up here just to show you a little bit about what we do. We have a kind of 3-pronged program where we do some education sessions like these. We provide a bunch of great resources. And depending on who your eligible partner is, you can be eligible for up to 90% off our software stack. If you want to learn more, check out hubspot.com/startups right there. But this is a little bit about who we are and what we do. I like to start here so that way if you don't know HubSpot already, you have a little context for why are we talking about these things? What could we possibly know about this? So if you don't know HubSpot, we are a free CRM with a sales, marketing, service, ops, and CMS hub built on top of it, and 600 integrations. So if you were to kind of take the core pieces of, let's say, Salesforce, Marketo, Calendly, MailChimp, Hootsuite, roll them all into one, add a few things, that's essentially us. So we spend a lot of time thinking about how do we give first to our entrepreneurial community, and how do we help people gain the skills that they need to scale successfully. And that's where we come in with talking about sales processes. So we're going to learn today how to set up a killer sales process. If you're a Halloween nut like me, insert Halloween pun right there. And I know that you are not here to hear about me, but to give you a little bit of background, you know why HubSpot's talking about this. Why should I be talking about this? So I started my career working as a teacher and working in nonprofits. Absolutely loved it. Decided that I wanted to also be able to expand beyond the work that I was doing there. Decided to go into business school, and I started working for a scale-up organization, a founder that had been around for 30 years and was looking to make some of those next steps into international expansion, but wasn't quite sure how to go about it. So I set up her sales process, her marketing process, her operations process, and helped us to scale into a multinational organization. Really enjoy being able to think about how founders can make the most of their time and make the most of the resources that they have. And I decided after that, I ran a sales team in the travel industry for a few years. I can give you all kinds of great advice on places to go in Latin America. But after I was kind of running my sales team for a while, I decided to become an entrepreneur myself, and I opened up several brick and mortar stores, juice bar cafes in Boston. So if you ever want smoothie recipes, also your girl for that. And after I was running my business for a while, I had sold to my partner, and then was looking for my next venture. HubSpot for Startups came along, and the rest is really history. But I get to do a little bit of everything I love. I get to still share education and resources, but be a part of the entrepreneurial community. So I want to say, I know how hard it is to be an entrepreneur. I know how hard it is to be running your business, or if you are a part of a larger business, that you might be wearing a lot of hats. And we are here to hopefully talk through a couple of different things to help you be able to scale. So what exactly are we talking about today? We're going to talk a tiny bit about the change in the buying experience. How has that journey, adapted throughout the last couple of years? And how do you actually improve your current sales process? How do you remove friction from that selling framework, both for your sales team, for your customers, and also with your sales and marketing team? And if you are both teams, then how do you remove friction between those processes? We're going to talk a little bit about the importance of alignment and how you can accelerate all of this with automation. So with no further ado, let's chat a little bit about the role of inbound in a buyer's journey. Now, if you haven't already heard of inbound, by the way, shameless plug, next week we have our huge inbound conference. It's like 35,000 people. So if you're still hungering for more educational resources, check us out. But inbound is where you are attracting customers to you. So rather than classic interruptive techniques where maybe cold calls, cold emails, it's creating content that is going to generate awareness, interest, and is going to solve needs for your customers to be able to attract them to your business to reach out. Now, that's important to know because that is the context through which HubSpot works and which we're going to be advising on the sales process. But some of the important things to know is that today, buyers are in control. There has been tremendous changes here in that buyers have a lot more education and resources and access to be able to price compare and be able to know more about your competitors online. And they've just gotten better at being able to knock out those interruptive techniques, whether it's spam on their email or whether it's ignoring calls. And they don't want cold calls. They are not even going to engage with this. So we want to make sure that they have a better experience and they have a higher expectation for what that experience may look like. So to give you some examples, let's talk with our example here, Timmy. So this is what your typical, average B2B buyer. They need some basic things to do their jobs. They're trying to remove friction, enable employees to work digitally, maybe reports into the CTO. And this is typically what Timmy's purchasing process used to look like. Very linear. You maybe meet at a conference, sales call, do a meeting, have a purchase, happy customer, done. Now, in 2021, that is looking a little bit different Because what that process may look like is that maybe he's scrolling through LinkedIn, maybe finds an interesting post, clicks through to a blog, realizes that actually this is a problem for my business and I really do want to take action and I need to do something. So then he's going to discuss this, this idea with his team. Then maybe he's going to do some more Google research, maybe download an ebook, etc. And what that means is that his sales process actually ends up looking a little bit more like this. There are multiple touch points throughout. It's not just sales that is part of this, but also a huge part that marketing and customer service is going to play in this experience. But what you really want to be focused on is how do you make one cohesive brand experience for Timmy? Because Timmy doesn't care that he's talking with your sales team, your marketing team, your customer service team. He's talking to you. So how do you make sure that everything is tied together in a uniform and positive experience? And part of that means that today it's really not about what you sell, it's about how you sell and how you go to market. That's a really differentiating characteristics. You need to be able to build a phenomenal experience that throughout all of these touch points. And our selling motion then has to match the way that our buyers want to engage with us. So to give you an example, to start digging into what that would look like, is that you want to make sure that you are building trust throughout your buyer's journey. Because people will talk to people that they like, but they will buy from people that they trust. So each one of these steps, you can think of attract as this is generally your marketing phase. So thinking about how do you personalize your approach? How do you make sure that your digital presence, that your focus is on things that are going to help people and solve needs that they have and be able to bring them in? And once you get into the sales process, make sure that it's easy, give assurances, share, customer stories, case studies. And as you close, make sure that you are doing a warm handoff to your customer service team, that you have personalized campaigns. People expect that at this point that you're going to be able to give them that smooth process throughout. All right, so first we're going to kind of dig into setting up that initial sales process. What are some best practices around that? What do deal stages look like? We're going to talk a little bit about those first phone calls with your clients and how you can navigate these. And then we're going to talk about how we can improve your current sales process. But for 3 elements of a good sales process, this first one I can't emphasize enough. You want deal stages that are factual and inspectable, meaning that you know what is the criteria to move them from X stage to X stage. So that way you actually have a pipeline that you're tracking. And this might be something that you're already doing. It might not be. And if it's just you want to be thinking about how do you set up processes so that way when you bring on other people, that you are going to be able to replicate this process, that you're going to be able to create best practices around it, and it's going to enable you to scale. Don't solve for your problems today, solve for your problems tomorrow. And you want to make sure that you are matching the way that you sell with the way that a buyer likes to purchase. I've worked for companies before where they require that somebody has to go on an actual phone call with them to be able to give them a quote and to be able to move them through the process. Some people really just wanted a fully digital experience and they lost customers that way. So know your customer and know what type of experience they want. Also, educate, don't sell. This session is a great example. I'm not selling to you. You're learning about HubSpot, but I'm doing a value add, some a give first type of thing. And you want to be able to do things like this with your business. Think about what are the things that are vexing your customers? What are the things that they maybe don't know about your industry or your market that you do and that you can share with them so that you can start adding value off of the bat. So jumping into factual deal stages, this is a screenshot out of HubSpot. This is not the only way that you can do it. You can change what your stages are. You can change the names, the probabilities, etc. However, you see that there's multiple stages and each one has a entry and exit criteria. So new lead, this is, maybe when you first get somebody in, and then once they're in and you have talked to them and you're going to do a discovery call, maybe you've set up a call with them, they're going to move to this stage. After they have done a discovery call, they might be lost or they might go into negotiation. And that's when you're going to start working through what their package is going to look like, and so on and so forth. But you want to make sure that you know what stages they're in, so that way you can start making some really accurate predictions about what's going to come in. And as we talk about being more helpful and building trust, consultative selling is a huge part of this. So there are a few different points that I would give you here. First of all, you want to make sure that you are using collaborative words and phrases. These are things that are going to bring people in, like we and us and together. And you want to become more of a partner to them, being able to educate them with you. One book that I absolutely love, read lots of sales books throughout my time, but the Challenger Sale is one of my favorites. I think it does a great job of talking about how you can have a great discussion with your prospects, how you can maybe even challenge them to be able to say, is this what you want? Is this what you need? And be able to build trust and credibility to be able to close. And a lot of this just takes being their friend, being genuinely interested in their business, being able to think about how does your product solve for their needs and help them reach their goals. And with that, you want to be able to also help them sell internally. So think about if this, especially in B2B sales, you might be looking at somebody who is not the end all decision maker, and they have a board or a panel or a committee that they need to report to. So you are essentially enabling them to be your salesperson. So make it as easy as possible. Make sure they are armed with everything that would share your message in the way that you would. All right. So diving right ahead, I know we're going fairly quick, but we got a lot to cover. I'm going to talk a little bit about what do those initial calls look like when you're trying to uncover their need and figure it out. So GPCT is the process that we use here at Hubspot. 4 different stages to this, and this is what you need on every single initial call. Regardless of your industry, you can adapt this, but you want to make sure that you are spending your time and effort on the people that are going to be most likely to convert. And that means that you're going to have to qualify folks really early on. And this framework is going to be really helpful for this. It's going to help you realize who is a good fit now, and also maybe who is a good fit for later. So you want to go through talking about their goals. Where does this actually fall on a priority? Because this might be their goal, but if they're saying, yeah, but my urgency to solve this is a 5 out of 10, then you're not going to close them right now. That's not going to work. Not until they're a 7 out of 10 or higher are you going to actually be able to make meaningful progress. And figure out what exactly are they responsible for. Make sure that you're aligned with what their personal KPIs and goals are. Talk about how are they actually planning to achieve it. So for example, maybe I get on the phone with you and you say, hey, I want to double my leads this year, and I want to be able to get to 2,000 leads by December. Great. Okay. How does that align with your personal role? Okay. And how are you planning on doing that? How are you going about it? Oh, okay. You're thinking about software. Cool. So what did you try last year? And so that way you have a little bit of background, you have context, you understand the frame, and figure out what are the challenges. What are the things that might keep them from being able to implement this solution? And what are some of the hurdles that you guys need to plan for? And then what is their deadline for having this done? And also being able to paint the full picture for them and say, well, what will happen if you have not met your goal by this date? This helps to build a little bit of urgency earlier on in the sales process, so that way you can keep on moving them along. All right, so now we're going to talk about how do you actually improve your current sales process? How do you remove some friction from this process? And there are 4 essential steps. First, you want to be able to analyze your current process. Figure out what is working for both your sales reps and your process. And you need to be able to tailor it to better fit your needs. You can always be evolving. And here's some ways to be able to kind of analyze the success of your current sales process. You want to be able to observe your reps. If it's not your reps, it's yourself. Work through the sales process. Look back at the last maybe 5 or 10 deals that are closed. What did they look like from beginning to end? What were all the touch points with that customer? And consider roughly how long did this entire process take and how much time elapsed between each step. The more examples that you have, the better, and the more people that those examples come from on your team, the better data that you're going to have. This is going to then enable you to map out your customer's journey. And you want to be able to look at the sales process from the perspective of your customer to get a better understanding of all the interactions that they have with your reps and the pain points they experience, and also why they need your product or your service. And then you're going to define that exit criteria. So lay out the information that your sales team must gather before moving someone to the next stage. So to give an example, we just talked about GPCT. That's something that we would go through before we'd even get to negotiation stage. That is one of the qualifications to get to that next stage. And figure out what commitments do they actually need from your prospect in order to move forward. So much time is wasted by creating and sending proposals to people who aren't serious. So you need to be able to hone in your time. And then, of course, you want to be able to measure your results. You want to be able to look at the conversion rates, perhaps from demos, the times that prospects spend in each one of these deal stages, look at rep close rates, rep productivity rates, maybe your average time to close, your average deal size. And this is going to give you a lot of great information so that you can figure out how you want to adapt. So we've talked a little bit about what does those initial calls look like? How do you actually start to improve your sales process? And now we're going to talk about how do you actually implement a frictionless selling framework. Now, there are 3 different stages to this. We developed this to be able to guide teams effectively to remove friction from your day and create a sales process that's more convenient both for your buyer and for your seller. So first up, we're going to talk about the basics. We're going to talk about how do we enable our sales teams to take a hard look at the infrastructure that you have and really cut the fat out of the system. Then next, we're going to align our sales team with our target buyer and ruthlessly prioritize that buyer's needs over our own systems and our own processes. And then lastly, we're going to transform our sales team culture through continuous learning. Now, of course, you can apply the frictionless selling framework with or without Hubspot, but today I'm going to show you how we make it really simple for teams to do that within Sales Hub. So first off, let's talk about how we enable your teams by really cutting the fat out of the system and allowing them to focus on sales. Now, your traditional sales approach is blind outreach, siloed work. They might have a lot of different tools. It's not really helping them to prioritize. And there is a high number of leads. What we want to be able to move towards is being able to make sure that your sales team is informed with their outreach. I don't know how many times I've had sales reps where they have a qualified lead and they're like, yeah, what made them qualified? What did they do that got them to this process? Enable your reps to have this information, enable yourself to have this information. So that way you can personalize experience, be able to know what pages they viewed, what they were most interested in. So that way you can tailor this to your buyer's journey, enable your reps to have better information. You want to make sure that you're creating an opportunity for your team to collaborate, that you have one central source of truth, because you are only as good as your systems. And if you don't trust your systems, then you're not going to use them. And it's going to be bad data in, bad data out. And you want to make sure that you can systemically prioritize your leads and be able to focus on quality over quantity. So these are all great ideas. How do we actually go about this? So when we are talking about enabling your reps, you want to be able to scrutinize your sales process and tools and take a look at their day-to-day. So how many emails do they have? How many calls? What kind of calls or emails can you automate? What are the things that only sales can do? And I would say if you're an entrepreneur wearing multiple hats, what are the things that only you can do? Because everything else you want to be able to automate. And you want to give information to sales to be able to act. As I said, give them that information about the buyer journey up until this point. And if something is wrong, be able to look at yourself in the process and take that direction first. Figure out how can I improve this process? Then ask your reps, then ask questions. Now, some of the metrics for actually enabling reps are looking at time to complete tasks. Are they doing everything from scratch every time? Are they wasting time? Do you have a template for your proposals, or do they have easy ways to be able to find things? how long are they actually spending with your customers? And then you want to invest in automation and processes that will scale. Only invest in what you can get a return on. So do the math. How many more sales would you need to have? How many more deals a month to be able to justify the cost of the system or the software? Now, one really interesting piece of information is that about 70% of the content of emails for sales are repeatable. So these are templates that they use, common phrases that they use, etc. So having tools like email templates, like snippets, where you're able to quickly insert an answer to a question and be able to pull in those things. If you can take that 70% of duplicative content and be able to automate it, then you are essentially, it's like hiring another salesperson. So you want to be able to like take the fat out of that system, so that way you can scale and you can make sure that when you're adding more people that you're going to actually be able to add more revenue rather than just handle more work. Those are two very different goals. Now, let's take a quick look at like how Sales Hub can help teams better align with the buyer. Again, you don't have to use HubSpot Sales Hub, but we're talking about using a general sales tool to be able to align. You want to make sure that your sales tool, whereas traditionally might be 9 to 5, you want to have something that's on demand. Maybe you can't have a 24-hour call center, but you can have a chatbot that is set up to be able to filter messages to your team, to be able to respond asynchronously when they're able to. You also only have so much social capital when you start with a customer, with a prospect. You don't want to waste that on 7 emails back and forth to set up a meeting time. Have a calendar tool. Simple meeting experience. So with HubSpot, similar to Calendly, you can send a link, book directly into my calendar. It will send you a Zoom call. And that way you shorten up your sales cycle, you remove some friction. And let's move away from the hostile negotiations. More customers are asking for pricing clarity, being able to have public pricing, being able to have transparent discounts. People don't want to be surprised. They don't want to go on your website and have no idea of the ballpark of what it's going to cost, because then they're going to navigate away from it before you even have a chance. And you want to make sure that you don't have heavy upfront commitments. You want to make it easy to buy and easy to cancel. You want to make it sticky enough to help your customers stay. So like, for example, HubSpot, 5 different hubs, 600 integrations. If you want to cancel, we're not going to make it terribly hard to do so and make you jump through hoops and make it a really agonizing process. However, if you are integrated, if you're running, let's say 6 to 10 different integrations through HubSpot, you're getting that additional value. It's making you a stickier customer, but we're not trapping you. So this is a real difference in the way that you can serve your customer and be able to put your buyer first. And of course, being able to make sure that you have a buyer-driven sales process. The really important thing, though, is, again, thinking back to that beginning where you see all of those different touch points, is you want to own that entire customer experience and make it a priority. And if things aren't working, course correct. There are a lot of things that you're going to amend as a business over the years. Don't be afraid to break it in order to fix it. Now, if you have done well in being able to remove this friction, being able to enable your sales reps, you're going to see that close rates are going to go up, time to close is going to go down, and customer satisfaction should go up as well. Now, moving into the next piece of this, let's talk about how you can transform, how you can create a culture of learning. And this is part of transforming your sales team. But what does this actually mean? We want to be able to enable reps to get to a point where they can lift themselves out of the weeds and evaluate what it is that they're doing, what's working, what's not, and be able to have transparency throughout the organization. And what that looks like is that traditionally, they might have inconsistent performance. They might be running out of spreadsheets that have lagging data. You or your team might be really focused on reporting rather than coaching. Those are really different things. And new reps might just get thrown in, like learn on the job, not a lot of support. And what you want to be moving to is being able to enable your reps with real-time data to be able to see how they're performing, how their customers are tracking through, be able to focus more on coaching. So when something goes wrong, rather than being asking the rep, like, what did you do? What happened? Blah, 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 and putting the pressure on them, figuring out, okay, why did that happen? What does that look like now? How can we move forward together? And that doesn't mean that you're going to write off any mistakes or, any, omissions that they do, but it means that you should be focused on the coaching part first, because you want a collaborative culture, not a fear-led culture. And that's going to be creating playbooks and training. We have a lot of different ways that you can operationalize this within our system, but you want to be able to start building out what are those best practices and give them a chance to contribute and be able to amend those as you go along. Let your top sales reps be able to share some of their playbooks and help make your sales team accountable for success. Now, to be able to get to this place, you want to make sure that you are finding an easy way for the sales team to be able to access their data, see each other's data, so that way they can see how they stack up, who they maybe can go to for help. And you want to be able to develop an army of experts, figure out what people specialize in, make sure that they are the go-to for their other team members, allow them the ability to coach so you can help scale. And you want to be able to embed this into your operating system rather than meetings that are all just about status updates. Figure out how you're going to work through a difficult customer together. What are other talk tracks that other reps would use to be able to address this? And when you're looking at metrics to see, is this kind of transformation really working? You want to see that your customers are being retained, your rep productivity is going up, and employee happiness is going up. So I would also argue to maybe add a fourth thing, looking at your rep retention. If you see that there is a high turnover rate, then you're the common factor. Your business is the common factor. It's not that individual rep. So you need to look at what you can do to be able to create some alignment there. Now, as we were talking about alignment, let's talk about a little bit of sales and marketing alignment. So this is a bit about smarketing. This is how we align our sales and marketing teams around common goals within the business and be able to focus on actually improving revenue. And part of what this means is that the marketing pipeline should be tied to sales quotas. They need to be aligned on their metrics and their process. So you need to make sure that you know how many leads is it going to take from marketing, either from your team, from your software, from you, to be able to enable the reps to close at a given close rate. So working your way back from, here's our revenue goal. This is how many deals we need of what size to be able to close it. And if we're at a 50% close rate, that means I need this many leads. And to make sure that there is that communication between sales and marketing. And this can't just be like a one-time, like your annual thing or like ad hoc. You want to make sure that everybody knows where they own their part of the sales process. So if something's going wrong, does sales need more leads? Do they need more awareness? Is it that they need better quality leads because they're too early in the funnel by the time they're getting to them? Or is it that marketing needs help creating more case studies, more reviews to close, so that way sales can help on this? Whatever it is, it's usually going to fall into one of these three buckets. So either top of the funnel issue where this is marketing's responsible, middle of the funnel where it's a shared responsibility, or bottom of the funnel where you want your sales team to be able to action on this. Some of the best practices around that are that both teams need to have the same or interdependent organizational goals. That way they can't pass the buck. At the end of the day, it all filters up to you. And you want to make sure that their goals are tied to one another. So that way they are able to reinforce and focus on the overall goal, which is being able to drive revenue for your business. Visibility is always a positive thing here. So making sure that we can see how other people are tracking so that we can solve together. And you want to make sure that that compensation is based on those shared goals, because how you compensate is going to have a huge effect on how you operate. And you want to make sure that you have continual communication. So that might mean that you have monthly or quarterly goal setting. You might have a weekly send-off where marketing gives updates to sales or vice versa. And if things aren't going right, you want to be able to quickly recap and be able to set things in the right direction, to be able to bring these teams together. And that's going to require some transparent communication between your sales and marketing org to help align and to iron out any differences. All right. So I have been chatting a lot. One thing, a couple resources that I have for you, I'm going to drop some of these in the chat. So if you are interested in creating a sales process in our CRM, again, you don't need to. This is a great link to be able to a free Academy resource to be able to do so. I'm going to share another couple of links with you here. So this is free Academy course. If you like education like this, you will be able to get some more around how do you actually design your process. And then I also wanted to be able to share with you our link to be able to sign up. So you might have different partners that you are eligible for, and I'm sure Aaron can drop some of these in the public chat. So this is how you sign up to be able to get up to 90% off our software. But I also want to be able to show you a little bit about the reporting that you should be collecting, and that is going to enable you to make great decisions and data-led decisions around how you're going to support your business. So this is examples within HubSpot. Again, doesn't have to be about HubSpot. But these are some of the reports that you can kind of get out of the box to be able to see how things are going. I think it's good to use even when it's just yourself and another person, so you can start to get a baseline. But this is where I'm able to see where the calls and meeting totals by rep. So where are they at in the process? Who is doing the most? How is this kind of filtering up to our overall goal? And I'm able to see what are the outcomes. Did they, do I have somebody that's just leaving a bunch of voicemails and not getting through? Then I know I need to coach them on time of day, maybe the voicemails that they're leaving. Like, who is doing exceptionally better? Like Sandeep should probably be the person that I'm tapping to be able to help Skillshare with some of these other people. You're able to see at a quick glance, what are some of the meetings that are going on? How is my call volume looking over the course of the month? What are, who's actually leading? And being able to dig into these things that you're able to coach to, being able to get a good look at their emails, the call duration, and then being able to translate into their funnel and conversion rates so that you know what you can anticipate. Again, we talked a little bit about what the deals pipeline looks like, but it's pretty easy, drag and drop over. And when you move your deals, you can put in requirements of saying things like, if it's deal loss, they give me a drop down of what are the lost reasons. So you can pull reports on this. Again, you just want to make sure that whatever process you have, you're making it really easy to find actionable data that you can coach to. And then from your deals page, these are more dashboards that you can get out of the box. You're able to see what sources are actually leading to you closing the most deals. So you can figure out where you want to lean in. And you want to be able to figure out, what does that pipeline look like? What is the revenue coming out of it? Not just volume of deals, but the actual revenue. So you can further inform where you want to invest in. And then lastly, you want to be able to translate all of this into actionable forecasts that you can use for your lenders, for your business, and be able to see where people are at in the process. But easy things like, this one isn't loading at the moment, but time and deal stage. So you can see, where are people getting stuck? That's an area where you need to be able to remove friction. What are the big deals that are coming in, and from which owner? So you know who you might need to be able to coach, what you can expect, what deals you want to be able to focus your most time on, and being able to break this down into stage type as well as selling price. So those are a few different things around how you can get actionable insights to be able to drive your impact, and be able to know a little bit more about how you remove that friction. And then once you come on with the startups program, and we have a great relationship here with Capital Factory, you get a whole host of resources. So whether you are having issues managing your contacts, automating your business processes, you're able to click in here and have a really streamlined way to help you achieve this. So these are the content pieces that HubSpot can help you learn with to be able to understand the strategy. And these are the corresponding tools that you can use to be able to action on it. And again, along with that, we have another 20 affiliated partners that offer different discounts to any startups that are within our network, maybe a ballpark of another 80K or so of discounts. But that is a whole overview of creating a killer sales process, giving you all of the tactics that you may need to action on it. We have a couple minutes left here for Q&A, and I'm going to open it up.
Awesome, Kelsey. That was a great presentation. Thank you so much for sharing. If you do have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. And I do want to add, by the way, yeah, I know you gave a couple shout outs to Capital Factory. This is completely unsolicited, but we do use HubSpot and we really, really love it. So it's a great tool, and we're always learning more ways to use it, which is awesome.
Awesome. Well, and as one of our great partners, anybody that is on here and is a member of Capital Factory also gets access to these discounts as part of this partnership. So this is our way together to be able to give back.
Super cool. Yeah, I think Aaron, let us know if there are any questions in the chat. But definitely have really enjoyed everything that you shared. It feels like there's so many things that I know our sales team does that some of the things that you were talking about, like the being a partner as opposed to being a salesperson, is so important. And for us, it's so much about making sure that our partners get connected to the community that we're working with. They're able to work with our startups. So that totally felt like you were speaking directly to us, which is cool.
Excellent. Well, I think that your sales process, it's something that's constantly evolving, and there's because the buyer experience is always evolving, and it is as a founder, it's kind of your first job is to go out there and be able to wear the sales hat. And it's a big transition from going from being the only salesperson to be able to grow a team. And I think the sooner that people can start to create a process that they can replicate and that they can analyze, the easier that transition is going to be.
Yeah, I did love you mentioned automating the things that it was something along the lines of like doing the things that only you can do that can't be automated. And that I think that totally makes a ton of sense. We actually have a question from the audience about that. Can you talk a little bit about how you can build in those bots and automation into the sales process?
Yeah, so great question. I would also say definitely good resources checking out that 26-minute piece on how to build with HubSpot. But bots can play in, I would say, throughout your sales process, right? Depending on your customer, we see that chatbots have really gone up. We offer chatbots throughout our system, which actually, even though I work for a tech company, I don't consider myself super techie. So I was really impressed. I set up a bot within like 15 minutes. And the cool thing is that earlier on in your funnel, you can be able to use your bots to qualify and be able to ask your customers, like, where are you located? Which one of these products are you most interested, et cetera. And it will all feed into your CRM. So you have great actionable data that your sales team can use, your marketing team can use, that you can use for additional outreach. So that's kind of the earlier part of the process. Then in the sales process, you can help give paths to conversion where they are able to chat, help to give them a little bit more information on your possible products, and be able to send them resources to be able to cultivate them. So maybe you get their email address through the chatbot, then you send an automated email follow-up to help nurture them. And then when you get to the customer service side, people want to be able to immediately and easily chat in. Even if you can't respond in that moment, our service hub means you can round robin it, you can set certain hours, there's all different things that you can do. But even if you can't respond in that moment, people want to be able to share their concerns in that moment. And this is a really easy way for you to be able to be set up to give that 24/7 support.
Yep, makes a ton of sense. That's awesome. It's good to know about what tools are out there and how to utilize them. Erin, do we have any other questions from the chat? She'll drop them in if we do. We may be ready to move into the networking segment of today. So I think we'll close out here. And thank you so much, Kelsey. Really appreciate you presenting.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So this next session that you're going to join us for is Quality Over Quantity, the Art of Outbound Lead Generation. And in this session, you'll learn about the 3 ways to get leads. Well, one specifically, but word of mouth, inbound, and outbound. You're going to hear how successful Austin startups are using these strategies to increase sales through modern outbound lead generation. And with us today to present on that topic is John C. Butler from TF Leads. John, welcome to the program.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having us. I'm super excited to be here. Just wanted to give a special thanks to Jacqueline Hughes, the Austin Startup Week, Capital, Factory crew, just everyone, our clients. We wouldn't be here without our clients, our team. So thanks so much, John. I really appreciate it. Excited to get going.
All right, take it away.
Great. All right, let me share my screen real quick. And Aaron, feel free to take it away. All right, guys, as I said, super excited to be here. And, I put this presentation together, this is our bread and butter. This is what we've been living and breathing for the past, almost 8 years now. And so what's important to call out is lead generation, especially outbound lead generation, has changed over the years. And it's really all about what you can do to make sure that you're taking advantage of all of these new strategies and also trying to stay on top of the strategies that are coming and strategies you want to make sure that you take advantage of and you're aware of. So again, John Butler, I'm the CEO, Chief Lead Generation Officer, co-founder of TF Leads, and let's dive in. I wanted to first kind of give you an idea of who we are and kind of why we do what we do. When I started this company almost 8 years ago, we really wanted to just start a different kind of lead generation company. There's a lot of cold calling centers out there and just a lot of lead gen companies that we thought just weren't doing it the right way. And so, our why is we really want to, help companies grow. We have been a part of the Austin startup community for a long time. We've helped and continue to help a lot of different startups. But this is kind of what we're all about is focusing on outbound and really trying to do that as best as possible. So let me tell you a little bit about TF Leads, and then something to call out as well is I would love to share the slides with you. I have my contact information at the end, so feel free to reach out to me, and happy to share the slides. So don't feel like you need to take copious notes. Happy to share those, and if there's any ever one-off questions, happy to answer any of those questions, after this as well. All right, guys. So TF Leads stands for Top of the Funnel Leads. We started in 2014. We're headquartered here in Austin, although our creative director is in Denver. As I mentioned, we are an outbound lead generation agency, and we primarily focus on B2B. So, companies going after other companies. We do have some B2C clients. It really just depends on the size of the product and service offering. So that's really our bread and butter. We're really proud of our core values. So I wanted to quickly go through this, and then we'll kind of get into more of the meat. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm hearing sessions and things like that, I always wish people really got into the details and gave me more meat. And so our goal today is to kind of peek behind the curtain a little bit, give you more meat on exactly how to do outbound lead gen well. But first, I'd love to tell you about us from a core value standpoint, kind of what makes us tick as a company. We have 6 core values. Sincerity is one in which it's all about treating people how you want to be treated. How can you make sure that you're just being nice, right? You're making sure there's kind of no jerks allowed, right? We want to work with great people. We want to treat each other the right way. On the passion side, we're obviously very passionate about outbound lead generation, but we also want to support our clients, our employees with their passions outside of work. Thought leadership is one in which we're going to tons of different conferences all the time. We just got back a few weeks ago from Traffic and Conversion Summit in San Diego. I took the team. We're going to be joining Inbound next week. The goal is to always stay ahead of all these different marketing trends and really making sure that we can get these different nuggets from all these different places and see how they fit into doing outbound really well. Balance, we're all about having a great work-life balance and just trying to protect nights and weekends and all of that good stuff. Relationships is important. Before the pandemic, we were trying to do all of our kickoffs in person. We were flying all over the country, but we've done more kickoffs virtually since then. But we still want to come in person and really just get to know our clients and as much as we can. So relationships is a really important piece of what we're trying to do here. And then hustle, guys. Hustle is, just having a strong work ethic, being scrappy, just trying to get results for our clients. So that's kind of who we are. To kind of get things kicked off, let's talk about the 3 different ways to get leads. And so this is how we see the world. There are 3 main ways to get leads. You've got word of mouth. This is the best kind. This is the free kind. You've got inbound. So people basically that are coming to you already. They already know about your brand. They already know about your product and service offering. And you can obviously follow up with them once they reach out. Our specialty and kind of the last way to get leads is outbound. And we kind of define that as people that don't already know about your brand, or they need a reminder of what you guys do and how you can help. So to give you an idea of where we focus, this is a sales pipeline or sales funnel. We're all about the funnels at top of the funnel leads, but from an MQL standpoint, a marketing qualified lead, the goal here is to make sure that we're handing over the most qualified leads, most qualified MQLs as possible to our clients. And so the sales rep on our client side is going to take these leads and go through the sales pipeline process, qualify them, see if there's an opportunity, and hopefully close some business. But we're gonna kind of focus today on the top of this funnel, and how do we make sure that we are getting people that you want to talk to, and people that your sales team wants to get in front of. So we're not wasting anyone's time. All right. So kind of to lay the foundation, and this is, I know this is kind of marketing 101, but this is a key piece, I think, in making sure that we are doing lead generation well. And it is right person, right message, right time. And so to really kind of unpack this, with right person, you want to make sure that you are researching, exactly who your target audience, your avatar, whatever you want to call them. You want to make sure that you are lining up, reaching out to the right person with the right message. And so, the thing about, messaging, you always want to make sure that, you're trying different things. We kind of call them different angles. Messaging is never going to be perfect. You never know how the person is kind of going to receive that message, but you want to do the very best to line these things up so that people are like, oh, they're actually speaking to me. The more you can get closer to, they think, you're speaking to them, the better. Just to give you some background, when we started TF Leads, we had tons of we basically just focused on email, like email blasts, right? Just sending out a ton of emails, and we were getting tons of responses to people. We had done tons of research on who we're reaching out to, but it was more of a blast. It wasn't like, okay, CFO, I see you, I hear your pain points, and this message is going to line up to your pain points. And you know, over the years, you think about the spectrum of, you know, if you have, you know, one polar end of the spectrum is, you know, just kind of spray and pray, right? Just reaching out to anyone and everyone. On the other side of the spectrum, you've got one-to-one. You've got, you know, just, you know, reaching out to one person at a time. You know, we have over the years gravitated closer to that one-to-one. And, you know, we're not there yet where, you know, every interaction in marketing is one-to-one, but we continue to get closer to that. And I think it's a good thing because it just makes the messaging and everything that's out there just more relevant. We have a saying here, you know, relevance equals results. You want to make sure that you are, you know, lining these things up as much as possible. I will say on the right person side, you don't want to break the bank when you are trying to, you know, spend money on data. There's kind of the 800-pound gorillas of, you know, Discover.org and ZoomInfo that Discover.org bought because they're trying to monopolize it. But you basically, you know, there's tons of data out there. No data provider is going to be 100% accurate. They're just not, and people are changing jobs, especially, you know, during this season. There's more of that than ever before. So it's important to, you know, most of that will be directionally correct. It's important to get started because you're going to get a lot of learnings from how people respond, and, you know, and if you're getting results. So it's always about really trying to optimize and change things up until you kind of find the different formulas that work. On the right time, you obviously cannot control. You can control right person, right message. You can't always control right time. I know sometimes it is, you know, more helpful in last quarter of the year where people are looking at budgets and they are looking to kind of plan for the next year ahead. So, you know, that is sometimes, you know, based on the industry too, you know, sometimes people are, you know, you're probably aware of when they're maybe doing more budgeting and planning for kind of the next season. But for the most part, it is tough to know. And I think what's most important to call out here is, even if it's not the right time and there's interest that's expressed, you want to make sure to always nurture those people and make sure that you're getting back in front of them. You know, I've talked to people, you know, they're starting a company, you know, 3-4 years ago, and they just finally reach out and they're like, all right, John, we're ready to go. The company's gotten to this, you know, level where we think we're ready. And, you know, it might have just been an idea, you know, a few years ago. So you always want to just make sure that, you know, you're following up with people. I did want to call out on the right message side. You got to know your customer. This is an important piece. You really want to understand kind of their pain points. And, you know, there's different pain points based on different industries. We're industry agnostic. You know, we're helping all size companies, startups to, you know, multi-billion-dollar, you know, international companies. And it still always comes down to, who are you going after? What's the title? What's the level of person? You know, all of those things, and really trying to draw messaging that's aligning with those people that you're going after. You always want to focus on them first. If you can, you want to make sure that, you know, you're calling something out. You know, maybe it's they recently posted about something on LinkedIn, or maybe their company just went public, or, you know, whatever it is. You want to focus on them first. You know, people don't want someone launching into, hey, let me tell you about me. You want to first, you know, say, hey, you know, love to help, and really just kind of take that approach and try to get their attention, but doing in a helpful, you know, want to call out, I've done some homework, and hopefully this message, you know, coming through in the messaging that this is relevant to you. So this is kind of a framework you can use for the messaging side, you know, we help, I mean, these brackets, I mean, you can kind of interchange these different things. You know, for us, we help sales and marketing teams get quality leads. You know, we bring sales teams more deals and whatever it is, but we help the target audience by doing something. You want to kind of give them an idea of what the end state will be by working with you. And you can even drop the we, you know, helping, you know, sales and marketing teams get leads or something like that. And so I would say those are the things to be aware of with trying to really marry all of these three things up. And that will kind of give you a good foundational start. There's kind of 2 keys to success. And then we're gonna kind of dig more into how we do this for our clients, and kind of share some different examples and things from our clients that have had a lot of success. So intentionality. So as I kind of mentioned, that polar spectrum, you got spray and pray, you've got one-to-one. It's all about the targeting, and it really is really trying to get that honed in as much as possible. I think it's important to, you know, unless you have a really small universe of people you're reaching out to, you know, with the targeting, you can kind of segment people that you're going after. You know, if it's, you know, let's say you're going after CEOs, you know, you can kind of talk to them more about the vision and talk to them more about, you know, how this will help them either grow their company, make their company money, or save them money, or whatever it is. And you don't have to necessarily be, you know, one-to-one for that person. I think that's important for responses, but there's an element of also casting a wide enough net, because the reality is this is still a numbers game, right? You still have to, you know, make sure that you're taking advantage of where there's opportunities, and then really digging into getting, you know, one-to-one when you start seeing any type of, you know, intent data that's gonna, you know, tell us, okay, I need to spend more time with this person or with this company or anything like that. Next is humanizing your messaging. So, you know, with messaging, you know, we say, you know, B2B is our primary focus, but you think about it, you know, we're all just reaching out to people, and it's, you know, the only difference between B2B and B2C is, you know, business to consumer is just reaching out to the person directly, or direct to consumer, whatever you want to call it. Or B2B is just you're reaching out to a person at a company. You're still reaching out to just a person. And that's really where, you know, it's important to keep in mind that, you know, it's really just H to H, you know, human to human. And you want to make sure that when you are reaching out, you know, that you do humanize your messaging. So, and this is, you know, part of kind of that art of outbound lead gen, where you want to call things out. Let's say if you're reaching out to someone in Dallas, you know, you could say, hey, Cowboys had a great game. I'm not a Dallas fan, I'm sorry, I'm from Houston, I'm a Texans fan. But those are the types of things that, you know, show that there's a person on the other side of the messaging. And the more you can lean into, you know, call it just small things. It might be have a great weekend, or hope you had a great weekend, or, you know, hope you had a long, you know, we're able to enjoy the summer or something like that. You know, hope you had a great 4th, or, you know, something like that. There's always different things going on. Sometimes, you know, appropriate things in the news to bring up. So it's really just trying to, you know, find things that, you know, make sense and can really help humanize that messaging. So I want to also, you know, now talk about kind of the how. You know, we talked about why we do what we do with helping companies grow, but the how is just as important. And, you know, it's kind of fun, you know, when I talk to prospective clients and they're like, so, you know, so what new channels are you using? And the reality is we all have the same channels. There's no like, other social platform that only, we know about, that no one else knows about. And so it's really about how you use these channels. Just using, saying you have a LinkedIn profile, you email people and things like that. That's tip of the iceberg, right? You have to make sure that, you're really, you're leveraging these platforms with all that you can get out of them. So there's 4 different channels that we have seen really help our clients, and then we're actually going to kind of dig into these in a pretty granular way. So the first is LinkedIn. The second is email. The third is advertising, and these are our primary strategies. And what I mean by that is we use these 3 strategies with our initial outreach. And so for LinkedIn, we'll talk about kind of all those different strategies, but it's not just about having a LinkedIn profile. It's not just about even having Sales Navigator. There's a lot more to it than taking advantage of some of these different platforms. The secondary strategy that we've seen, because we're kind of anti-cold calling, we kind of put that in more of the spray and pray camp, is what we call warm calling. So basically the only time we're picking up the phone to reach out to people and following up is if they've expressed interest first, but they haven't gotten back to us on when they want to have an intro call. For everything that we're trying to do, we're just trying to set up intro calls for the sales team. So that's what we found to be the most effective way to really use the phone. We tested cold calling for years. For us, it's we're not too proud to try something new, and it's really important that we always continue to keep trying new things, because that's part of the marketing game, is always staying ahead of the curve. We actually just added targeted ads this year. We tested it all of last year on ourselves. We test everything on ourselves first before we roll it out to our clients. And now that's a core piece of how we get leads for our clients. So we're going to unpack the 3 primary strategies. To give you an idea of the warm calling, how we do that is, we basically, just reach out and say, hey, we are all about, love to try to, get something scheduled. You mentioned that, you were interested in talking to, the sales rep's name. I'm calling on their behalf. Would love to, get something scheduled. And you really just try to, get it scheduled from that point. So that's kind of the quickest, easiest talk track of what that looks like from a warm calling standpoint. And again, only for people that have expressed interest and haven't gotten back to us. All right, guys, so let's get into LinkedIn. So for each of these, I think it's important to call out, what are the things I need to get started? And then we'll get into it a little bit more. So first, you want to make sure your profile is welcoming. You want to, have a picture, a clear picture. It needs to be professional. It's better to also even have a background. Typically, we encourage our clients to put, a background of, the company's information, so they know that you work for that company, and really just having, a genuine, intro to, to who you are. You want to, obviously try to get different recommendations. You want to promote different, media links and things like that, but you really just want to, certifications and all of that stuff. You just want to make sure that it's built out and looks credible, because people, especially B2B buyers, are doing tons of research, before they're buying. It's typically a longer sales process, and they're crossing their T's, they're dotting their I's. And so you want to make sure that, you are representing the company as best as possible. You want to sign up for Sales Navigator. I know this sounds basic. Some people, still haven't used and taken advantage of Sales Nav. SalesNav will really help you from a targeting perspective. Search and really try to get honed in on who you're going after. SalesNav also does a great job of filtering the different searches that you create to show you who is actually super active on LinkedIn. It'll tell you, in the past 30 days, these are all the people in your search that, have been engaged on LinkedIn. So it also say, these are the people that are also following your company. So there's a lot of cool ways that LinkedIn SalesNav helps filter your target audience, and those are people that are who you want to focus on. It's more low-hanging fruit if you're using a channel that they're more likely to engage in, and so you want to make sure to reach out to those people first. You also want to clear out pending connection requests. So this is kind of starting to get into more of the meat here, but this is one of the things that the LinkedIn looks at with their algorithm, making sure that there's not too many pending connection requests out there. They might kind of slap your wrist and say, they won't tell you this outright, but they might say, hey, we're putting the account on hold for a little bit or something like that. If this is the case, we've kind of tested everything, so we kind of know the different parameters. But I would say staying around to be safe, 250 to 500 pending connection requests at the most. Once it starts getting kind of more than that, then LinkedIn doesn't like that as much. All right, so here's some of the different strategies. We've got connection requests. This is, in March of this year, LinkedIn made a major change where they significantly reduced the number of, LinkedIn connection requests that you can send out. It is now 100 per week. It used to be, it was crazy. It was like 1,000. You could maybe get away with 1,500 a day, which is, we were never doing anything like that. But that's too much, right? That's when you're getting closer to spray and pray. I think it's a really good thing for the platform. It protects the platform. LinkedIn is, the most successful B2B social media platform. And so this is definitely, for all industries. And so it's definitely one that you want to take advantage of. You just have to be more intentional and targeted with your outreach. All right, in-mails and lines. I don't know if you guys remember, a lot of people used to put lines on their profiles, but this is basically people that you're not connected to. So in-mails, with SalesNav, you get 20 in-mails per month. If you don't use them, 10 can roll over each month. 10 more will roll over. But the cool thing about in-mails too is if someone just says, no, I'm good, on the other side, you will actually get that in-mail credit back. So you can kind of just monitor it throughout the month. But it's really helpful to be able to reach out to, 3rd+ degree connections, people you're not connected to, and really just trying to get in front of them. For the Lions, the LinkedIn Open Network people, this is basically people that have marked on their profile that you don't have to have an in-mail to reach out to me. And so those are also great people to target. You can kind of, SalesNav doesn't allow for you to filter by those people, but there's ways to do that. But you obviously want to reach out to those people as well, because they're open to talking a little bit easier than these other people that you have to use an in-mail credit for. One other thing to call out is with in-mail is they will actually send a follow-up for you to the person that you reached out to. So you don't need to use more than one in-mail credit. LinkedIn actually helps, with that kind of follow-up cadence. Just say, hey, John reached out to you, just wanted to check in and see if this is something you're interested in. All right, so thought leadership postings. This is something I would say that's really, I would say over the past couple of years has really, just gained more traction in more of that credibility that we were talking about, and really making sure that, you're getting the most, you're just presenting the best kind of profile out there. The great thing about thought leadership postings is you don't have to use your own content. Honestly, you want to use probably, others people content more than your own, just because, you never want to look like you're always pushing your own content. It comes across not as well. And at least that's what the research says. So I would recommend, getting into different groups. Facebook has better groups than LinkedIn, but LinkedIn also has great groups. But you want to get into groups of where your target audience is, and really, trying to be a helpful kind of thought leader, answering questions. There's different, question and answer boards out there. Quora is one where, some people, that's their only primary lead generation strategy, is answering questions, just being super helpful on these different forums. And, when people are searching that question at a later date, they see that you've helped, and really, they reach back out to you. And so really trying to put out, just more of that, content that is helpful. Just really trying to kind of be of service to people as much as possible with the content marketing that you're putting out. And that'll really come back in spades to really help you. Another thing too is, we talked about groups, but commenting and liking different posts of your target audience. So this is where you can really start some great discussions. Sometimes you can then take it offline, more of like a DM situation, and just, kind of going back and forth. Typically at that point, it kind of then moves over to email, and then hopefully, an intro call. But definitely just trying to engage with either, people at certain companies, or you can kind of follow different companies on Sales Navigator. And then you can obviously choose different people at those companies to follow as well. So when they do make posts, you can, have that more top of mind through Sales Navigator. All right, so we have a joke. We're really proud that none of our clients have ever gotten linked out, but linked out is a thing, and I think it's great that LinkedIn is cracking down, because there were millions of fake profiles. I can't remember how many they shut down over the past few months, but we want real people on this type of platform, right? So some tips to not get linked out. We talked about the penny connection request. Stay under 500. You should be safe there. Another thing is, if you are making any searches in Sales Navigator, you want to make sure to include second and third degree. So when you guys receive a connection request, if you ever decline that request, then basically, you have the option to say, it's really small. It's a small little link, but it says like, I don't know this person. And it's okay to get a couple of those. You just don't want too many of those. And so basically it really helps to have second degree connections. So basically people that are connected to your connections, because they're more likely to not click that button. And so just one way to, if you basically are just doing a search with third plus degree connections, there's just more of a chance there's going to be more of those clicks. And that's just part of the algorithm that the LinkedIn, doesn't like too many of those clicks. So try to include that. Some more tips, less is more. So from an in-mail perspective, and just from a formality perspective, I would say too, informal is definitely kind of where people are trending. Unless you're in banking or law, it's more of an informal tone. Just think a little bit formal than text messaging, but it can be that informal. But as you can see here, less than 400 characters is much better, 41% better than 1,400 characters or more. You basically get 2,000 characters for in-mails. So what's crazy is 90% of in-mails are over 1,400 characters. So kind of crazy there. So that's actually coming straight from LinkedIn. They put out trends and research report in April of this year. So that's LinkedIn, guys. I'm going to move over to email. Getting started checklist. One is deliverability. So you obviously want to make sure that these emails are getting to the inboxes, right? SPF, DKIM. These are key pieces. These are the two most important pieces, basically where you're giving permission to other, pieces of software, email marketing platforms and things like that to send on your behalf. And so we always say, do all three of these if you can. DMARC is, again, not as important as the other two, but if you can do DMARC, I would do that as well. Just more verification. All these different email platforms are looking at these things, before they're allowing for your emails to go through. And then CAN spam compliance. It's different rules based on the different countries that you're reaching out to. We primarily do focus on the United States. We've done some international work, but you have to make sure that in the United States you're CAN spam compliant. Things like you're giving people an opportunity to opt out. You're putting your physical address on at the bottom of the email. There's a variety of different things, not deceptive subject lines and things like that too. So you want to take advantage of that. And the different strategies. So we've actually seen more success with one-to-one outbound emails because we just know that you have to do some homework first. You have to call something out that we've seen about that person or company. So that has really kind of resonated with people, even compared to sending a lot of emails automated. We just have found that the automated is not as successful. We're always kind of evaluating those types of things. There's also a world where both of those make sense if you are doing it well. And so for automated emails or automated outbounds, these are going to be more text-based. In general, they're going to be short and sweet. You got to think about brevity as much as possible. To just make sure that you're honoring someone's time. Inbound, this is going to be, companies like HubSpot, Marketo, Salesforce Marketing Cloud, Pardot, where it's more HTML based. People have already opted in, to receiving an email from you. And so this is something that, you want to make sure that you have, all of those strategies in place, and ways that you can kind of send, inbound campaigns is going to be, through gated content, contact us page, newsletter, people that sign up for your newsletters, and webinars, and events, once we can get back to that more. Different tips on the email side. You want to avoid common spam words, right? So you can actually look this up. You can, see what are the most common spam words out there, and you just want to make sure that your verbiage in your emails doesn't include those words. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of words you want to actually avoid that give you more of a chance for the email providers to not let your emails come through. Something actually I meant to call out for the outbound email marketing platforms. They space out the sends. So it's like every minute, and you can actually choose, the spacing, but it's every, 5 minutes or whatever it is when another email gets sent out. For the inbound, you can actually, schedule the exact time, and you're going to be more of like a promotional, type of email that goes out. So that's kind of the difference between those types of email marketing platforms. All right, so more tips on the email side. Over 90% of email formats are this: first name at, first name or first initial last name, and then first dot last. So even if you don't have someone's email, you can definitely just try to figure it out if you do know someone else's on the team's email. And I talked about it a little bit, but brevity is key. You want to make sure that you're honoring people's time. You're getting to the point. 3 paragraphs max, 2 is preferred. You know, the first one is really about getting their attention. Last paragraph is really going to be short and sweet and really asking for the call to action. So some common email templates that you can have ready are going to be, you know, can you send me more information? You know, voicemail follow-up. You know, this is more on the nurturing side, but saw this article, thought it might be helpful. Wanted to share it with you. You know, you're not, you know, you're showing that you are thinking of them. Are you, you know, going to be able to make it to a certain conference or event? It's just kind of a reason to reach out. Sometimes, you know, people that even aren't attending those, you know, events are still, you know, willing to talk because it's relevant. All right, guys, so that's email. I'm gonna move over to advertising. I know we've got about 5 more minutes. Again, just a reminder, you know, I'll have my contact information at the end. Feel free to reach out to me for these slides. Or if you have any questions, happy to answer anything and really help with whatever type of outbound you guys are doing on your side. All right, on the advertising side, so this is targeted ads. You want to, you know, upload your client's contact information. Decision makers, influencers. You want to also research, you know, target audience and upload that as well. You can obviously focus on those people that you've uploaded into the different ad platforms, but from there you can even create lookalike audiences and really, you know, just trying to get honed in on, you know, making sure your ad spend is going to, you know, just the people that you want it to go to. These different ad platforms definitely love to spend your money, and so you want to make sure there's different parameters in place to protect your spend. So that's really kind of an important piece. You could put daily limits, a campaign cap. You want to make sure to do that for sure. Different ad strategies. You want to make sure they just have different strategies. What we've seen from the ad platforms that have had the most success for our clients are just have really strong targeting capabilities. So lead gen forms also kind of help them stay, like instead of, you know, going out to a microsite or landing page, it keeps them in that app and they're easily able to fill in their information because that app already has their information. So you're really just typically only asking, you know, 1 to 2 qualifying questions. What we found, these both work well, but YouTube is better and Google Ads is kind of better for a smaller universe. And Facebook and Instagram, definitely yes, on the B2B side is better if there's a larger universe. All right, guys, some tips. Never stop optimizing. You want to follow the data. You know, there's so much great data from an advertising perspective. You just want to make sure that you're taking advantage of the learnings and really just leaning into what's working. Videos are more successful. You know, we've heard and tested ourselves. There's kind of a video strategy of putting out, you know, videos of why you do what you do, how you do it, and what do you actually do. And that kind of cadence is a good kind of video cadence you can use because the reality is, so you can see here, ad fatigue is real. You want to keep things fresh. People get tired of seeing the same ad, and so you really want to make sure to change things up. I would say at least, you know, every 3 months, if not more often, if you can. All right. So lastly, guys, is and this might be good just to take a screenshot. Honestly, you know, you want to use some automation, not too much automation, but you also just want to be smart. You know, you want to work smarter, not harder. And these are just, you know, tip of the iceberg, some different types of software that really help making sure that, you know, you're getting everything out of, you know, your time. You know, we're all limited to the same amount of time each day, and it's all about how you can really take advantage of these different things. So, guys, I've really appreciated the time. Here is my contact information. If you have your phones on you, you can hold it up This is the LinkedIn QR code to connect. And then my contact information. We also have a podcast called Funnel Vision. We have taken it a hiatus for the past, couple months, but we're gonna get that kicked back up in the next few weeks. So we're really excited about that. So guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much to Austin Startup Week, Capital Factory, everyone. Thank you. Bye guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, John. We did have one question, if you have a minute, from the audience.
Sure.
And the question is, what are your thoughts on ways to develop or grow email lists? In other words, getting verified email addresses for outbound.
Yeah, a great place to start is LinkedIn, just because people are willingly, putting their contact information in there. So it's a great place to start, especially, if you have Sales Nav, and there's, even the Recruiter, which is basically the next level up from Sales Navigator, that does give you, more in-mail credits. It is a lot more expensive, but it also, allows for you to see more profiles as well. So I would say that's probably the best way to start. But there are tons of different B2B data licenses that do allow, there's hundreds, if not thousands, that are much more affordable than the Discover orgs that charge you, $30,000 a year, something crazy. Right. So yeah, I'd start there.
Cool. Well, we are just about out of time here. But again, thank you, John, for your time, and thanks for the great advice. And like John said, if you want to get in touch with him, you can find him on LinkedIn. I will send you a LinkedIn message, John.
Please do it right now. Let's go.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, thanks again. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, John.
Thanks, guys.
All righty. Well, we are back for our last and final session of this track for today. And this next track session is, I think, a really interesting conversation. And I hope you do as well. This is how to nail your next pitch. And Wen Zhang, the founder of and CEO of INNW Institute, will walk you through how to nail your next sales pitch, whether it's a 2-minute elevator pitch, a 5-minute casual cocktail event, or a formal business development meeting. In this session, we will discuss storytelling and how to best effectively add storytelling components into your pitch, why people buy, the biggest and most common mistakes that founders make, how you can avoid them, the secret of getting inside your ideal customer's mind, how to effectively book and run B2B sales calls, and finally, a winning mindset regarding sales. All of that is going to transpire in the next 40 minutes or so. And so with that, let's bring up our host for this session, Wen Zhang from If Not Now, When. Wen, welcome.
Thank you so much, Jan. I really appreciate you. Good morning, everybody. I am so excited. Why? Because today is all about getting customer for you. Doesn't matter you start your business 3 years ago, 3 months ago, or 3 weeks ago. Your job as a CEO, as a co-founder, is to truly effectively pitch your product, your idea, to whether it's investor to seek funding or customer to say yes for the pilot and all and above. Your job is truly to pitch. At this moment, some of you sitting in the edge of the seat say, wow, oh my goodness, Wen, you mentioned sales. You might already sweat in your palm. You're like, Wen, I am not the salesperson. I am engineer. I am software developer. I am scientist. I don't want to sell. Sell is not for me. Well, you might say, Wen, I'm going to raise $1 million fund next year. I'm going to hire the huge sales team, do that for me, so I don't have to ever do that. Well, guess what, my friend? As wonderful as that plan sounds like, however, before you're raising that 1 million capital, before you have a full suite of sales team sell it for you, before that moment happens, you are the best salesperson for your business. Whether it's you are in a fancy cocktail party, drinking mimosa, people come up to say, hello, Sean, so what do you do? Or you simply waiting in line of HEB, waiting for checkout. People say, hey, Rebecca, so what do you do? At the end of the day, my friend, perception is reality. And you and me, we all know this, right? Don't judge a book by its cover. But guess what? You and me, we judge a book by its cover all day long. Therefore, perception is reality. The way how you, as a CEO, as a co-founder, how you articulate what you do, why does it matter, truly is vital for your startup success. Therefore, it's really important to nail your communication strategy, and this is exactly why we are here today. So let's jump right in. So what is the secret? How do you really nail the sales? Well, in my humble opinion, it's all about in the right room, speak to the right people at the exact right time, deliver the perfect message. And of course, there are some elements beyond our control, but there are some that truly we can craft that. Today is all about the right message. One common mistake I want to share with you, a lot of startup founder I work with, how they articulate what they do is they first start with their product. They tell me, oh my God, Wen, let me tell you, I have this best software, best application, best all the things. Let me tell you all the features, all the things about my incredible software. And you know what? I think it would be great fit if I reach out to HR professionals in enterprise space. That's in the past, people have that order. First start a product and then figure out what customer they are target to. However, today I would like to encourage you, invite you, think about, take a step back here. Think back that 3 years ago, 3 months ago, 3 weeks ago, when you first start your business, exactly what problem you are solving. And for that problem, who you solving it for. From that angle, then talk about how your product will fit in that space and helping our ideal customers solving a problem that you're solving in the first place. So it's about the problem to people and then the product rather than first start with the product and figure out who can you sell it to. So the question to ask is really important. Figure out, number one, are you solving a very clear problem? Are you promising a very clear result? What is in for them? And specifically, do you have a specific time frame associated with the result? And does your customer, talking to you for 30 seconds or 2 minutes, does he or she know exactly what they're getting? Well, before you answer that question, I thought let's take a step back here. Let's figure out, first and foremost, let's take a huge step back here. Why do anyone buy anything in the world? I want you to imagine, I want you to remember, what happened to you last week or last month. What is the last thing you purchased? Whether it's on Amazon, eBay, grocery store, a restaurant. What did you order? What did you purchase last time? And I guarantee is, in life in general, why we buy anything is either avoid pain or gain pleasure. And that is simply two sides of one coin. And talking about gaining pleasure, either is make you more resourceful, make you make more money, or creating more love, happiness, connection for you and your family, or a better health, or create more freedom, abundance for you. So imagine, what did you purchase last week? What is the last purchase and what category does it fall into? I'm going to give you an example. And for disclaimers, everybody, I personally, I'm not advocate for Coke. I don't drink Coke myself, but I'm going to use an example because I think everybody know that. So Coke was invented, I don't know, hundreds years ago, whatever years was before. And first invented as a way to quench your thirst, right? At the time we are thirsty, well, let's have a Coke for you to thirsty. So at the time it was fit in the category of quote unquote health. I'm not saying it's healthy, but at that time was invented to quench your thirst, therefore help you hydrated, help you healthy. But last time, think about the commercial you watched for Coca-Cola. Is it only to drink when you are thirsty? Well, that's one element of it. You also can see a table of family maybe come together. Maybe it's a family gathering that you have the love and connection with the family, or maybe in movie theater with your best friend, you're watching your favorite Star Wars track, right? So in this case, in this commercial, Coca-Cola not only capture attention from health perspective, but also love and happiness. So if you can target more than one motivator, two, wow, your message is gonna really hook. So that is why anyone buy anything, whether it's a grocery, whether it's application, a furniture, an app, a solution, whatever it is definitely falling to one of those categories. So now we know why people buy anything. What if I tell you, All right, Rebecca, what if I can give you this huge crystal ball? I can help you peek inside the crystal ball, give you everything you wanted to know about your ideal customer. What if I can tell you exactly what made her or him tick? What exactly is their pain point and what made her buy? And most importantly, how much money she or he want to pay for you? How's that sound? Is it yes, yes, and yes? All right, my friend. Let me give you that crystal ball right now. And that is called AKA market research. I know what you are thinking, my friend. You might be thinking, wow, when market research, that does not sound crystal at all. That sounds so much work. It's not. It's not applied for me. I don't think it's work for me. Well, my friend, hold on. Before you decide for yourself, let me walk you through why do I mean by market research. I truly think it's one of the fantastic way for you to truly get to ideal customer's head. Figure out what she want, how much she will pay for you. Let me first walk you through how to actually do that, and let's wrap up with all the benefit you will do by go through the process. First of all, start with a list of 8 to 10 people. Say you are a SaaS company. Maybe you have an application you work specifically for controllers for hotel. Maybe it is for principals in college. Whatever, like of course your ideal customers. You know who she or he is. Let's find 8 to 10 people. Send a quick message. Say, hey, Rebecca, you don't know me yet, but I am actually getting a research about XYZ. I love if I can grab a 10 minutes phone call with you and learn more about your experience. By doing that, oftentimes, number one, you say 10, 15 minutes, they find the time. People, of course, they will say yes because they love to help. When it's very clear exactly what you're asking for, more likely people will say yes. That's one. Secondly, you might say, when does it have to be phone call? I mean, I can do a Google form, I can do an email, it's just easier. Well, my friend, by just doing a simple ad of 10, 15 minutes phone call can really help you not only get her or him on the call with you, which oftentimes we speak just longer on the phone rather than if I type in, oh, do you like this recipe? Yes or no? Rather than in a phone call, we oftentimes elaborate a little bit more. So you get more details with your ideal customer. That's one. Secondly, by getting a call with your customer, you practice a sales call in a small snippet of time. And most magically, because you are asking her or he help you with the research, you are not selling. So pressure is off. Pressure's off you, pressure's off her. You and her just on the call talking about XYZ, the pain point that you are solving and she's experiencing. That's it. It's just a conversation between 2 people. Easy peasy. The most important thing is when you get on the call with, say, Rebecca, right? I want you to make sure asking 4 key questions. Number one, so for example, if you have a software that's solving employee turnover rate, for example, that is, you think the problem you're solving is employee turnover rate. You're gonna say, hello, Rebecca. So tell me more about, the pain point around that, right? Have her talk. And then second question is, if you have this magic wand, Rebecca, what would be solution like for you? And let her talk. Truly, do not interrupt her or him. Try not to have a conversation with them. Try not to influence them how you think about that problem. Let them really tell you what is their perspective. And third question, and show them this is what I built. Our team had built for past XYZ years. What do you think? Let them speak. And lastly, ask. So how much would you pay, or how much you or your organization will pay for something like this? Let her tell you. Maybe they have this funding cycle is every every year Q1, that's 3 months, and that's how it is. Or maybe it's a they will tell you what is the funding cycle is, how much money they roughly will pay for it, and that's how you know how much your customer will pay. And the best part here is, imagine this. You just have a phone call with Rebecca, your wonderful conversation. 3 months later, you call her back or email her back, say, hey, Rebecca, you know what? Thank you so much by your support 3 months ago. You gave me feedback about A, B, and C. Today, I have working with my team. We incorporate your feedback, A, B, and C together. Now, this is my updated product and version. I would love to grab a call with you to learn a bit more about your feedback, show you what it is. And of course, Rebecca can say yes. Not one, first of all, she felt, wow. she is heard. Somebody actually want to hear what she have to say. And you and me know this. In today's world, like not everybody are here to listen. She felt her voice is being heard, and that's really important. That's one. Secondly, now she felt like her input is directly contribute to your new product. So now she felt she had buy-in for the new product you have updated or created. Now she had the personal buy-in. Now she was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Now she had part of ownership. She want to say, you know what? We should have my colleague Michael, my boss, Robert. She have all the motivation to incorporate people to really, say yes for you. Of course, this is just one of the likely chances. It's not always going to be the case. Everyone is so different. But this is an amazing way for you to really get into the sales cycle, even start a conversation. Because oftentimes startup founder will say, you know what, when mine is B2B, it doesn't apply. My life cycle is so long, I can't even get one meeting. Like, how can I start building relationship? This is a fantastic way for you to start building without things like it. So to wrap up here, market research, my friend, really, truly, in my humble opinion, is a secret weapon to help you understand what exactly your ideal customer want. What is her pain point? How much money she willing to pay for solution like this? And also not only help you to practice sales call, but also get buy-in with potential customers. So in my mind, that is a crystal ball that you can get today. So at this point, you might say, okay, Wen, sounds good and all, but you still hear me say sales casually. You still like, oh my God, Wen, my palm is sweating. I don't know, what do I say? Would I be, like how, like you thinking all the things in your mind, like you get nervous. Like, I'm just not ready, Wen. I just not built for sales. I'm just not the salesperson. I'm just not that kind of person. My friend, what if I tell you sales or market research or anything at all? What about it's just an authentic conversation between two people? Just you and me talking. That's it. There's no more, no less. Number one thing is truly relax. You are not the salesy cars salesperson you met last month or last year. You are not pushing people say, buy my car. It is 10% off today. You buy one, get another one half off. Like, none of us want to be a salesy car person, and you are not one. So relax. That is not you. So imagine, what if, this Friday, you say, when I am having a barbecue party at my backyard this Friday, when do you want to come today? I will say, hey, Robert, thank you for inviting. I would love to come. Or I say, hey, thank you, but I'm out of town this Friday. I can't. Right? Me, by just saying that, you don't feel anything. Right? It's all good. If I come, fantastic. If I don't come, it's all good. It's just that. You are just there presenting your party and loving him to say, yes, this is great fit. I would love to come by or not. Most importantly, I want you to think about whether it's 3 years, 3 months, 3 weeks ago when you start your business. What is your why? Why do you start? Why do you do what you do? I bet majority of you is because you have that one. You're experiencing that challenging, that pain point your customer is experiencing. Maybe you were in her or his shoes before. You know that how inefficient the way how they done XYZ process. You know that. And you say, you know what, I'm gonna solve that. So knowing that is your why, and in some magical way, you have the key to the kingdom. You have a key to solving this problem. You are holding this biggest secret that the whole world is dying to know. You are just here to share. It's like, imagine if I visit your hometown, I told you, hey, Yubaka, I love Italian food. Which restaurant would you recommend at your hometown? I'm new to the city. Yeah, in your mind, the Italian restaurant back, in the next street will be amazing. Is they have this like handmade pasta, it's your favorite. I would like it too. What if you say, well, I can't tell you. I could not tell you. You go find out yourself. That sounds mean, isn't it? I'm looking for Italian restaurant. A great Italian restaurant. You of course want to tell me. It's the same thing. Your ideal customer out there right now is suffering, is looking for solution. It is your responsibility to tell him what you're working on, and really helping her provide a solution for her, for him. So in other way, it's your job. And if you do not go out there to share what you know, you are doing the world a disservice. You're doing your ideal customer disservice. Think about her or him right now, just wake up at middle of night, 2 o'clock in the at the bed, and just thinking about the problem at work. You have a solution. Of course, it's your job to tell them. So rather than thinking about sales, oh my God, when I'm gonna pitch her or pitching, I'm gonna say, I want to get yes, I'm gonna get money, I'm gonna go party. Like, don't worry about all that. What if sales is not about that at all? It's just a two human being had the most authentic conversation with one another. That's it. No string attached. It's all about them. It's not about you. Who cares? Like, don't. I feel like most part of people feel self-conscious. Is he or she feel like, oh my God, how do I sound? Am I come across authentic? Am I sounds good? Will he, she like me? It's not about you. Like, frankly, like, of course I like you, but it's not about you. It's about what your ideal customer want. What keep them up at night? And what do they really looking for? The future, the vision that you can help her to build together. So that is about sales. Most importantly is remember whatever happens is always win-win-win. Imagine you go ahead, you tell her, hey, this is what I do. She said no. That means that's a great news. Why? Because you want the best customer. You don't want the person actually think it's not a good fit, but say yes anyway. If that's the case, you won't have the best customer experience. You won't have the best result, best all the things, best testimonial, best pilots, all that. And if that's the case, they do your business a disservice. You won't able to win as fast as you want to. So actually, think about this. When he or she say no, it's great for you. And you know, if she or he say no, it's great for her or him because something else is better aligned for them. So in other words, whatever happens is win, win, and win. You win, her win, everybody win here. And when you get one no, just knowing she or he is not a right fit, the ideal customer, your next customer is on its way right now to meet you. When you have one no away, so you have more space for people who come in with yes. At the end of the day, your attitude, the way how you see sales, the way how you're perceiving everything happen to you, truly reflecting how successful you are building your business. And whatever you're focusing on is whatever the energy gonna flow. So focus on what really worked and let yourself know that whatever happened is always win, win, win. Everybody wins. So then you can really relax your shoulder, let the pressure go. All right. So now you know exactly why people buy anything. You get to know what exactly your ideal customer want. You know how to win in sales. And now you might say, well, okay, sounds good now, but now it's Thursday. My next week, my calendar is all open. I need to have more sales call. I need to like move forward. But how can I get on people call with me? One bubble I want to burst with you all is, with so much love, a lot of startup founders, they will say something like, hey, Rebecca, hey, Rachel, can we schedule a meeting next week? I would like to show you about my company, about X. I want to show you my water bottle about this. Of course, you're going to say no. Like just right now, I say, hey, do you want to grab a meeting next Tuesday? I want to walk you through my water bottle. You, of course, going to say no. Why? Because you don't want to hear what I have to say. At the end of the day, it's all about what's in for her or him. So let me give you an example. In order to book sales call, you need to sell the call first. Okay? Imagine this. Today, I am making this up. I want to sell, say, this water bottle to Mayor of Austin, Texas. Okay? So in order to do that, imagine before we have internet or phone, I need to do door-to-door sales, right? I show up in Mayor's office. Before I get to our mayor, I likely will meet his secretary. Let's call secretary Mary, right? I knock on the door. Mary say, hello, how can I help you? I say, hey, Mary, I would love to meet our mayors next Monday to talk about water bottle, right? If I say that, well, the Mary gonna know in her mind, she had figured out, okay, should she say yes? Should she say no? How is it helping her manager, which is mayor of the Austin? How is it helping her? How's it helping the mayor, right? So that's a poor analogy, actually. Back to you. You have to sell the call first. Let me show you how do I do that. First, I'm gonna have with a shorter version, then I'm gonna give you a full version, okay? And give you an example, you know how it can be done. So this can be done either email or phone call. So imagine I am an entrepreneur. I selling a B2B software for HR people to help them reduce the employee turnover rate. Imagine that's what I do. Okay. So I talk to Mary. I will say, hey, instead of say, hey, hello, Mary, I would love to show you my software. She's gonna say no. I mean, she's busy. She have time. She love to spend some time to answer emails, walk a dog, make sandwiches. She is busy. She, of course, don't want to hear what I have to say. However, if I say something like, hey, Mary, I would love to learn more about your business, your current challenge regarding employee turnover rate, and how can we better collaborate so we can help you optimizing your employee satisfaction rate. Will next Tuesday, 9 o'clock work for you? How's that sound compared to, hey, Mary, let's grab a call next week. I would like to walk you through my software. Right? So it's all about what's in for Mary, what is in for her, what is the reason for her to even say yes, get on the call, spend that extra 30 minutes or 40 minutes with you. So that's a shorter version. Let me give you a fuller version, and of course you can use whatever that aligns with you. So same example, say I am a company, I help optimizing or reducing employee turnover rate. I will say at the call, hello, we XYZ company, we reduce employee turnover rate for SaaS business. One of the things that we heard most about SaaS company is, oh my God, the new hire turnover rate is extremely high, and that costs billions of dollars every year. And recently, the one SaaS company we work with, ABC, by working with it for only 3 months of time, they already reduced their turnover rate from 45% to 10%. We are really, really proud and really excited for our achievement. And we will, of course, we would love to see how can we better support you on that as well. And we understand every business is so different. Therefore, I would love to grab a call with you next Tuesday to learn more about your current business, your current challenging regarding employee turnover rate, and how can we better collaborate to supporting you. Well, next Tuesday, 10 o'clock works for you? Do you see what I'm doing here? I go through either a short version or the full version. The full version is kind of help you casually establishing credibility, example about how you help others, and then really tell her or him that you are here to adding value. You're here to learn about what he or she really struggle about, how you can help them. At the end of the day, it's all about what is in for her, for him. So I want you to imagine from this moment on, whatever is sales call, sales page, elevator page, all the things, it's all about how you adding value, how are you helping her, how are you helping him, what's in for them. If you cannot articulate that, no one will be able to take your call. Make sense? All right, so now you know how to book the sales call. Now next week, your calendar is all booked. Monday to Friday, you are so booked. Now you say, okay, well, now what? How can I really nail my sales call? Now I'm finally here. It's Tuesday, it's 9 o'clock. I am right before I'm about to start a call with Mary from the SaaS company ABC. I'm so excited. I want to close this deal. Okay, great. Let's walk through how to actually run a successful sales call. In the call, of course, you first start with building some report, ask her where you should come from, XYZ, set agenda. Talk about today. We would love to talk about 3 things, A, B, C. And I want you to spend most of time, after you said that, really focus on asking the right question, okay? It's all about them, remember? So Mary, tell me, what are the pain point that you are today experiencing regarding ABC? Have her tell you all about that. That's very, very important. Have them to really elaborate all the challenging he or she experiencing in their organization, in their role, and the way, how, inefficiency, all that. Let them talk. And of course, you are here to encourage them and say, oh my God, totally understand. I was totally understand that. Let them talk. And then that's question number 1. Second question, then, of course, this is not actually question number 1. You first talk about all that reporting, but in the question wise, this is question number 1. Then second question, ask them, what is the future you want? So, which means, what's your vision? Like right now, you are leading this HR practices. You are head of, HR entirely. Like, what is your ideal vision? Do you want to like let her tell you their goal? Let them talk about elaborate what exactly the goal that they have and what they want to accomplish. So now what you do is you discuss what is pain point, discuss what is the future. So obviously you discover a huge gap between what is now to what is tomorrow, the ideal tomorrow. Do you see that? And now that's how you pitch. Rather than saying, oh, my name's Wen, I'm doing blah, 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 is listen what their pain point is. Now you're addressing them saying, hey, this is actually interesting. This is what we do. Short and sweet, to the point. Tell them what they do, how they're helping specifically fill that gap. Okay? Once you give them your pitch, make sure it's short and sweet and make sure resolve forward. It's not about you have this application, it's about what you can do for them. Once you go through your pitch, then ask them, so what are your thoughts? Any question I can answer for you? And very importantly, after that, I want you to talk about what are the ways you can see we can collaborate. Don't ever ask, is this something you like? Do you like it? Is it something you see will be good fit? What if he or she say no? If they say no, you have nowhere to go. Instead, asking, what are the ways you can collaborate? It's the same thing if hypothetically I'm asking you, do you want this water bottle? You say no. I said, is there any way you can see this water bottle will be beneficial to your life? And now you start thinking about, oh yeah, well, I can take it to the gym, I can take it to the grocery store. Sure, right? So you are triggering different part of the brain when you're asking questions. So what I see that the way that you can see we can collaborate. And lastly, what is the decision process look like for you? No pressure. We are not asking any sale. We're just asking what does it look like. Is it, get another, maybe she will say, you know what, this is so wonderful, Michael. You know what, I needed to have my colleague, Rebecca here. I needed to grab my boss, Mary here. We all need to jump on a call. We all need to get on the same page. Fantastic. Well, next Friday, 9 o'clock works for you, right? So really make sure you have a very clear next action item to be discussed. A couple things to remember if you've done it, if you quite new for this whole structure is number one is all about building rapport. Okay, so if it, especially the first time you meet Mary, you meet Rebecca, right? You don't know her before, right? It's all about building rapport. So try not to jump into solution problem solving mode and give them tons of advice. I get it. You know your product, you know the industry in and out, you have so much knowledge and wisdom to share. But just knowing that in the part of building report without having that consensus and report, you don't want to show up as rude or aggressive if report is not there yet. So try not to jump in and give them all the advice. Okay, you are here to listen, to build report, to understand what they are being through. And really, it's really important to get beyond one-on-one conversation. So I want you to really leave the call with, oh, that sounds wonderful, Mary. Would it be, typically what we're seeing is we at next stage, we would love to jump on a call with your CEO, your CFO, and to have a collective conversation about XYZ, right? So you want to encourage, how can I get your colleague, your boss, all the people to really showcase this product. So you know this in a big corporate, right? People are moving around, people leave the job, people get promoted, all the things. You want to make sure it's not just one point of contact, is you have multiple people in a conversation. That's how you're moving the needle moving forward in the sales cycle. And I mentioned this earlier, is asking how could we collaborate instead of saying, is this the right fit? Do you like it? Try not to ask yes, no question, because if they say yes, great. If they say no, there's nowhere to go. No, I don't like it. Okay, right? That's awkward, right? So say, well, is there any way, how do you see this might be a good fit for your organization? How do you see that we can move forward with the next step? How do you see that I can better support you on the decision-making process? Asking those how instead of is it a right fit? Do you like it? Make sense? All right, so that is a sales call. And I want to really leave you all with this. Doesn't matter your first time founders or your experienced veterans, you do sales all day long. I want to share you all this. The principle here I want to share you is sell the sizzle, not the steak. What do I mean by that? Let me give you an example. So Today's Thursday, you're like, when I have a long day, tonight I'm treating myself to a fancy steakhouse. You sit down, you open the menu, and you're like, wow, this steak is $100. And you and me know this. In the HEB, in the grocery store, this cut of beef is say $10, right? Why would a steakhouse charge you $100? Well, my friend, you are not here just for the steak. You're here for the environment, the AC, the tablecloth, the music, all and above, right? And that's how you are being charged $100 and you're willing to pay. So it's all about selling the sizzle, not the steak. So I want you to focus on the vision, focus on big picture. Don't in detail about all the features, nitty gritties. Really big picture, okay? Try to be short and sweet. At the end of the day, we all want to listen to story. So if we can, right, incorporate some short story anecdotes, whether it's a success story from your previous customer or what your personal experience, maybe how you started this business because you were in her shoes before 5, 10 years ago or whatnot, right? Try to share anecdotes. That's how we remember. And last but not least, we are all want to be part of something bigger than ourselves. I don't care about this water bottle. I don't care about this phone case. I care about connection. Why I want to have phone? Because so I can connect to my family, my friends, instant of my finger, right? Because I care about connection, not about the phone. And I don't just care about the water bottle. I care about my health. So if I can be healthy, if I can, vital, I can have a freedom, go travel the world with my friends, my family, right? So it's about what is your why. Why do you do what you do? Don't just focus on that one thing, that one software, that one application. When you see the fit, type into really what is your why? Whether it's more money, helping people make more money, save more time, more resources, more freedom, more happiness, more connection, more health. Type those bigger why and then get people on board with you. Because at the end of the day, you and me, we want to be something bigger than ourselves. It's all about how can we make impact in the world. Lastly, do not propose on your first date. Well, imagine, right? This is Thursday, 2 o'clock. You are sitting in this fancy, well, not fancy, let's say a coffee shop. You're sitting there, you met this gentleman the first time. You first talked for 10 minutes. His name is Robert. You both like hiking. You both love dog. And you will say, wow, Robert, I mean, we have so much in common. It's been 10 minutes. I mean, we both like hiking. We both like dog. Why don't we get married next month? Why don't we, have 2 babies next year? That sounds ridiculous, isn't it? Well, same thing. Apply not only in life, but also start a world. Don't propose at your first date. Don't worry about, especially you do B2B sales, do not expect you're going to close the first meeting, the first seconds, the first minutes. It's not going to work like that, okay? Really, chill. Take a deep breath. It's just like dating. Number one, avoid information overload. Don't tell her or tell him all the thing about your product, your solution. Really focus on what is she or he their pinpoint. What do they looking for from their perspective? Whether they are decision maker or they are HR, they are user, they are what they need. Give them that information. Don't tell them everything, okay? It's like in the first day, you don't tell them all about your birthday, you signed, you love to walk, you brush your hair 3 times a day, like too much. Short and sweet. And treat it like a dance, most important, right? Your goal is after this beautiful coffee day, we like each other, you are nice, I am nice. Let's get the second day, right? Maybe it's let's grab a dinner at a Italian restaurant. Maybe let's go for a hike next weekend. Your job is get next meeting schedule, especially in B2B sales, and you know sales cycle is long. Really importantly, knowing your tone, knowing your audience. I mentioned do not overwhelm your audience with all the information. So you need to know who you're talking to. Are you talking to a CEO, executive buyers? Or are you talking to a CTO, a technical buyers? Or is it a CFO or the users? What does he or she want? What is in their mind? Big picture here, of course, different company have different specificity, but big picture, CEO executives, he or she want to focus on vision. How does your product, how does your solution helping her, helping him to really execute their vision, their strategy? If we talk to a CTO, it's all about technical support. So he or she probably curious more about, so what does your support look like for your company? Or maybe is what does a rollout plan look like? Specifically, how do you integrate with my existing systems, right? So CTO need all those details that is not applied to CEO. If you told CFO, financial buyers, he or she worry about investment. What does the payment structure look like? All that. Or maybe it's users. If you talk about the corporation, like user probably don't care exactly how much the money is because its company will pay for that, right? So user care about, is it easy to use? Is it gonna be like take me like a day for the training, or is it like what does that look like for me as a user to actually using your product, using your solution? If I have a question, who do I ask question to? So knowing your audience and don't overwhelm your audience. And the first time you meet him or her, knowing what is in for her or him, and really figure out really how you deliver value for different audience at different time. I know I say a lot of things, and I want to leave you all with the one last thing is, truly my humble opinion is the secret of a successful sales call. Couple things I'm going to walk you through. Number one, if you at this point you're like, okay, Wen, sounds cool now, I'm still nervous. Well, let me tell you the one big secret is if you're nervous, that's actually wonderful. That's one is it's not about you. So you can just focus on listening. You don't have to, it's not about you giving all the pitch and all. Like you are here to listen what he or she, what is their pinpoint. Your job is to listen. If you're nervous, you don't know what to say, simply don't say anything. Just listen. Just literally treat it as a normal conversation between two human beings. It's like you pick up the call your college buddy. Hey, what's up? Hey, how's your week? Hey, how's your life? Hey, give me an update, right? You are just here to listen. It's your job just to chill and listen, asking questions. And if you're really nervous, I really want to encourage you all, really try to speak slowly and calm. One thing I recommend founder is if you all have a sticky notes, which I will, usually have that, you have pretty sticky note, you write down, slow down and put it on the computer if it's virtual or, anything you do, just remind yourself, I got it, you're nervous, but slow down. It's not about you. It's all about them. Try not to overwhelm your audience. Try to remember what is he or she looking for, what is in for them. Anytime you come with that, adding value to them, you always, you will find your way. Be confident. It's all about practicing. And when I say that, it's not about, tech. Like, of course, you say, well, what is really the technique for me to close the sales and all that? It's oftentimes not about that. In order for you to sell anything to anyone, you have to sell yourself first. In order for you to inspire anybody, you have to get inspired first. You probably can get at this point. I am pretty excited and really, really, really pumped about what I just said to you because I am very excited. Same thing. You cannot sell anything to anyone unless you sell on yourself first. So when you're coming from a place that you just truly know what you have to offer, you feel confident because with the time, with the practice, you are so inspired. You cannot wait to inspire your audience to also take action, saying the yes to your pilot. And most importantly, just relax and know it's never about you at all. When you know that, it's not about you to quote unquote performing or the art of salesperson. It's about you and him or her having just a two human conversation. That's it. Last but not the least, don't take things so seriously or personally. So what? You gotta know. That means the next yes is on its way. You're gonna get no, you're gonna get yes. That's just how life is. At the end of the day, it's just like if you ask me, when do you want to come over for barbecue this Friday? I say yes, I would love to, or no, I can't make it. Either way, it's cool. All good. It's always win, win, win. We all win in any given time. With that, everybody, I am super, super excited. And once again, thank you so much for listening to me. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any question at all, please let me know. I think I'm 3 minutes there, so it's perfect. 3 minutes. If you do have a question, please feel free to whether put it in the chat or email me directly. And some of you might say, well, when can you give me a copy of the presentation? No problem at all. Email me or connect me through LinkedIn. I will send a copy to you directly. I thought also share with you one of the resources I also built for top 3 mistakes startups made in pitching. I would love to share that with you as well if you head over the website, if not, wen.com. With that, everybody, I just really want to say thank you so much. I want to say Truly, I am so honored, so privileged to be here. And I hope, today you have at least 1 or 2 takeaways that could be helpful to your journey. And at the end of the day, just remember, like, you have something incredible. It's your responsibility to go out there to share with the world, to inspire your audience, inspire your customers to say yes. And it's up to you, because if not now, when? If not you, whom? All right, everybody. Happy selling. Bye, guys.
Awesome. Wait, stay on. We've got questions for you.
You
First
got a
of all,
question?
thank you so
Okay.
much. Yeah, really love the energy, love the presentation. And one of the questions you've kind of already addressed, somebody in the audience asked if it's possible to get a copy of the slides. So for Eric, you can email Wen, and she will send that to you. And I think that's also a question from Terry Lynn, who is asking the same. But another great question that we have here is from Andrew, and he says, do you have any strategies for getting through gatekeeps to key decision makers? What can you collaborate/sell them for access?
So I want to make sure I hear it correctly. So get past through gatekeeper or decision makers. Can you repeat that one more time?
Get through the gatekeepers to the decision makers. How do you do that?
Yes, wonderful question. Like I mentioned earlier, you have to sell the call first. So think about the gatekeeper, she or he, their job is make sure their manager their schedule is perfect. Is everything they do is really moving the business forward. You need to tell this gatekeeper what is in for their boss, right? So you have to sell the call first. So like we mentioned earlier in the earlier presentation, if you remember, right, it's all about what's in for them. So I shared earlier about the strategy about whether it's a shorter version, you can just go on a call, say, hey, I would love to learn more about, your manager Sean's, challenge about XYZ and see how can we better supporting you, or the full version about really pitching your gatekeeper about what is in for them. I think I answered that in the presentation, but also send an email to me. I'd love to, just grab a call with you and learn a little bit more about what exactly the situation is. And if what I share in the presentation does not apply, if so, let's chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool. I think that's all we have for today. But Wen, thank you so much for the presentation. Thanks for being here.
Of course. Well, thank you so much for having me, and have an amazing day, everybody. Happy
Sounds
selling.
good.
Bye, guys.
Thank you very much. So that's it for for session 3 for the sales and business development track.